I'm Mary Ellen Dedeaux Swinton, and I am the second child and the oldest daughter. My mother was the church secretary for our church, which happened to be her father's church. Her father was the minister, my grandfather, and my mother was the church secretary for, I don't even know how, 15, 20 years. And it seemed like a really thankless job, but my mother was right there every Sunday doing it. Because that's the kind of person that she was. But my mother taught second graders, and if you know second graders, you know that it takes a special person. She was a patient person. She loved kids. She wanted to help people. I mean, she did it at church. She was a teacher for 35 years. I mean, she was all about making sure that everybody was taken care of, and that, to me, was her character. I think her patience came from her love of people and her family and her friends. So I would say loving would be the one word that I would use to describe her. You would say something to my mother, and if she thought it was outrageous or funny or inappropriate, if I would say something to her like that, she would go, "Oh, Mary Ellen." It makes me laugh today because nobody called me Mary Ellen but my mother. But her response to things that she was having trouble processing, or, you know, like, I can't believe you said that, she would say, "Oh, Mary Ellen."
Right, okay.
Anyway, that's kind of funny to me, but if you wanted a steadfast and loyal friend, my mother was who you would look for.
Chances are, 'cause I wear a silly grin the moment you come into view. Chances are you think that I'm in love with you.
So I'm Stephanie Dedeaux, and I'm the fifth out of my mother's 6 children. I have early memories of my mother's selflessness and, you know, her ability to step outside of her own comfort zone to let her children be themselves, you know. I think as we get older, we get to know people differently and appreciate characteristics in them that we may have been overlooking for years. And I think my mother was a very giving and patient person, but also very, you know, respectful. And what I mean by that is my mother gave a lot of advice. She shared a lot of the things that she'd learned throughout the years. But she didn't give ultimatums. She didn't threaten people. She didn't even really warn people. She just shared what she knew, what she felt, what she learned. And she would also be very patient. For me, I guess I still admire, I'll always admire her patience. I mean, she taught school for more than 30 years. She had a lot of changes in the way people raise their children and in education. And, you know, through it all, she remained patient and dedicated to the cause of educating children. As a mother and a wife, a mother of 6 children, very different personalities. You know, my brother is 10 years older than me, and my sister is 3, 4 years younger than me. So, you know, raising children all those years, people going in different directions, people having different personalities, wanting to do different things, all the challenges that come along with that. You know, she remained patient, and we were always her children. You know, you get tired of people, you get frustrated with people, and you say, "I don't want anything to do with that person, I'm done." You know, and people do that with their children, as sad as that seems, it happens. But you would never have heard that anything like that come out of her mouth. So just extremely patient. And I hope that she was rewarded for that in the end. I hope that she really felt like having patience with people, giving people the benefit of the doubt, and being trusting was worth it, because she deserved to be appreciated. And I'll always remember every time I would leave her house, or she would leave my house, she would always say, "Be careful." It's because she loved us.
Fill my heart with gladness, take away all my sadness, ease my troubles, that's what you do. For the morning sun and all.
Helen Consuela Dedeaux, and I'm the 6th of 6.
Okay. And Helen, what's the earliest memory of your mother?
Oh, wow. That's a hard question. I just remember, when I was probably in kindergarten or, pre-K, she used to teach at a school in Denver Harbor. And we stayed in Acres Home. And she used to ride the bus to work. And me and my sister Stephanie used to run to the end of the street and wait for the bus to come. And she was getting off of work. And we hug her and be happy that she was home. My mother was really a good example to me of what a parent should do. When I started having kids, she really helped me, especially with my first born, because I didn't really know what I was doing. She was just a good role model and example for me. She always had a lot of advice about a lot of things, from cooking to, how to fold towels the right way. So she always had, a lot of advice for me.
Okay. I just want one word. If you had to pick one word to describe your mother, what would that word be and why?
Probably optimistic. Because she wouldn't tell me the negative things going on with her life. She always tried to, smile and make like she was doing okay, or if she saw me sad, she wouldn't tell me her problems. She always tried to help me with mine. She's always very optimistic, and as far as I'm concerned, even when I wasn't doing the right thing, she always tried to say, "Well, Helen, you can do this, or you can do that," She was very strong. Even when things were going bad for her and her health, she always tried to stay strong. She tried to take vitamins and, exercise and walk, and, she always tried to stay strong. She never really just gave up.
And delights me, oh no, it's just the nearness of you. It isn't your sweet conversation that brings this sensation. Oh no, It's just the nearness of you. When you're in my arms.
My full name is Adrienne Elizabeth Dedeaux Solomon, and I am the fourth child. She definitely was, and people say this a lot, like, oh, my mom was my best friend, but she literally was just that person that she was just, yeah, I guess that's the perfect description of her. She was my confidant. She was just always there for me. She was quite a bit. I don't even know if I can, come up with one or two words to just kind of summarize what she was to me, because it would be so much more. She always encouraged us to do whatever it is we wanted to do. She never, like if I woke up one morning and said, oh, I want to be an astronaut, and wear pink clothes every time I go into space, she would, well, that's great, Adrienne. You go right ahead. You can do it. So not so much an expression that she always said, but really more of a just a source of encouragement, and just never made any of us feel like we couldn't do whatever it is we wanted to do.
And delights me. Oh no, yes, just as many as you.
She was just such a lady. Like, she was just very ladylike, just very, when you think of Southern women, that was her. My mother was always the person that people wanted to talk to, that people just gravitated towards. She never met a stranger. She was probably one of the most, for sure, non-judgmental, yeah. That goes without saying. But people just felt compelled to gravitate towards her. She's just a good person. Like, there aren't a whole lot of just genuinely good people walking on the face of this earth, and she definitely was one of them. She just was a good person, and I think that drew lots and lots of people to her. Family, friends, strangers in most cases. Some of the people that I think consider her to be very good friends, until she passed, were literally folks that she met as strangers, just out talking, being herself. And yeah, so I would want definitely for folks to know that if they don't already know.
And I feel in the night, babe, then it is you.
When you're in my arms and I feel you so close to me, all my wildest dreams come true. I need no stoplight to enchant me. If you'll only grant me the right to hold you ever so tight and to feel